Hello, everyone. Comfort is the cage, and you're just trapped in luxury. That's the truth no one wants to hear. But deep down, you know it. You're not lazy. You're not a failure. You're not unmotivated. You're just stuck in the sweet golden prison of comfort. You wake up every morning with big dreams in your chest and a storm of what ifs in your mind. You tell yourself, this is the day you finally break free, the day you finally take action, the day you finally stop waiting. And then you hit snooze, you scroll your phone, you binge that one extra episode, you delay, you postpone, you tell yourself you're tired, that it's not the right time, that you'll start after lunch or next week or after this last excuse wears off. You don't realize it, but what's holding you back isn't your ability. It's not your IQ. It's not your potential. It's comfort, the invisible drug you've been fed your whole life. We're living in a time where comfort is everywhere. It's baked into everything we do. Your food gets delivered. Your opinions get validated by strangers you'll never meet. Your entertainment is nonstop, always on, always available. You are literally surrounded by luxury, soft couches, fast Wi Fi, climate controlled everything. And slowly, without even noticing, you become soft too. But let me ask you something hard. When did comfort ever make you proud of yourself? When did scrolling your phone at midnight help you reach your goals? When did another hour of Netflix build the life you said you wanted? You know it hasn't, because comfort doesn't feed you. It feeds on you. It drains your fire. It dulls your edge. It makes the climb feel impossible. And every day you give in, it takes a little more from you. Your confidence, your momentum, your belief in who you could be. You think you need more motivation. No, what you need is to get honest. Honest about the fact that your life is not stuck because you're broken. It's stuck because you've made a habit of choosing ease over effort. And the longer you stay in the comfort zone, the smaller your world becomes. Comfort is the enemy of greatness. It's the soft whisper that says later when your purpose is screaming now. It's the warm bed when discipline demands cold mornings. It's the voice in your head that tells you, play it safe while your soul cries out, go. So no, you're not lazy. You're just addicted to comfort. But the good news, addictions can be broken. And once you break free from the comfort cage, you'll realize your power was never gone. It was just buried beneath luxury. Comfort isn't just a soft pillow or a warm room. It's not just skipping the gym or ordering takeout instead of cooking. Comfort is the most seductive lie your brain ever learned to believe. And that lie, it doesn't scream. It whispers. It whispers, you're doing okay. It says you've earned this rest. It tells you there's no rush. You can always try again tomorrow. And so, you listen, not because you're weak, but because it's easier, not because you're lazy, but because it feels safe. But listen to me, comfort is not your friend. Comfort is the invisible force that keeps you small. It's the padded cell that locks your potential behind polite excuses and justifiable delays. It's the addiction you never chose, but unconsciously surrendered to. One decision, one later, one not today at a time. See, most people think danger comes with loud alarms and flashing red signs. But the real danger, it looks like a cozy sofa. It tastes like dessert after a long day. It feels like the relief of not being challenged, not being pushed, not being seen. But what happens when you choose comfort over and over again? You numb, you lose your hunger, you stop aiming high, not because you've lost your dreams, but because you've wrapped them in layers of maybe someday. And the scariest part, you start calling that normal. You start convincing yourself that ambition is toxic, that discipline is overrated, that comfort is self-care. Let me tell you something real. Comfort is not self-care. It's self-neglect with nice packaging, because every time you choose comfort over courage, you rob your future of strength. You rob your purpose of oxygen. You rob your legacy of momentum. You say you want change. You say you want success. You say you want more. But every breakthrough, every evolution, every next level lives on the other side of what's comfortable. That's why so few people make it, because comfort feels like love when it's actually fear in disguise. It's fear that says, what if you fail? What if you're not good enough? What if people laugh? And instead of facing those questions, you retreat, you shrink, you tell yourself you're not ready. not realizing that you were never supposed to be ready. You were supposed to get up and grow through it. Let me be crystal clear. Comfort is not the enemy because it feels good. It's the enemy because it steals your urgency. It convinces you that today can be wasted, that momentum can be delayed, that greatness can wait. And the longer you stay in that trap, the harder it becomes to move. Not because your legs don't work, but because your mind has stopped believing in motion. This is why your goals feel far away, not because they're impossible, but because you've been living inside a cage with golden bars. Everything feels fine, everything looks okay, but deep inside your soul is suffocating under the weight of unrealized potential. So if you feel frustrated, if you feel restless, if you feel like something inside you is screaming for more, listen to it. That's not a breakdown, that's your awakening, because comfort may feel like a warm hug, but purpose feels like power, like fire, like clarity, like meaning, and none of that comes from playing small, staying safe, or choosing the easy way out. It comes from doing the thing you don't feel like doing. It comes from showing up tired, scared, unsure, and doing it anyway. It comes from standing face to face with the lie of comfort and saying, not today. You are not here to live a quiet, numb life. You are here to wake up the world. But first, you have to wake up yourself, break the comfort trap, because the second you do, your strength returns, your focus ignites, and your life finally begins. Let me tell you something about how your mind works, not how you wish it worked, but how it actually operates. Your brain was not designed to make you successful. It wasn't built to help you chase your goals. It wasn't optimized to push you toward greatness. It was built for one thing: survival. That's it. Your brain is hardwired from evolution to do one thing above all else: avoid pain, avoid risk, avoid uncertainty, avoid anything that feels threatening or unfamiliar. So when you say, I want to build a business, I want to transform my body, I want to create impact, wealth, legacy, your brain doesn't say, awesome, let's go. It says, whoa, 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 that sounds dangerous. Why? Because chasing growth, that involves risk. It involves the unknown. It involves work, exposure, judgment, rejection, and your brain's number one job is to keep you comfortable and alive, not thriving, just alive. So here's what happens. The second you commit to something meaningful, your brain starts throwing resistance at you like landmines. It tells you you're too tired. It tells you you're not ready. It floods your mind with distractions. It feeds you that let's just wait a little longer. Sound familiar? That's not a flaw. That's not weakness. That's how your brain is wired, unless you take control. And here's the trap: because growth requires discomfort, your mind interprets it as danger. You start working on something hard, and boom, your brain sends a signal. This doesn't feel good. Let's back off. This is too intense. Let's do something easier. Let's go back to scrolling, back to comfort, back to what's safe. So you obey, and that obedience becomes a habit. That habit becomes your default, and suddenly, mediocrity becomes your home. But here's what they don't teach you in school, what your friends won't tell you, what even your parents might not know. The pain of growth is temporary. The pain of regret is for. Yes, growth hurts. Yes, waking up early, doing hard things, risking failure, staying focused when no one is watching, that hurts. But so does staying stuck. So does knowing you could have been more. So does waking up every day with a quiet ache in your chest that whispers, is this all there is? Your brain will always choose the familiar, because familiar feels safe. But if you want to build a life worth living, if you want to wake up proud of who you are, you have to start overriding that wiring. You have to become the architect of your own mind. You have to start doing things before you feel ready. You have to show your brain, yes, this is scary. Yes, this is uncomfortable. And yes, we're doing it anyway. You see, growth doesn't happen in the comfortable zone. It happens when you sweat. It happens when you feel fear and walk forward anyway. It happens when you push back against the instinct to quit and keep going. The moment you understand this, the moment it clicks that your hesitation, your distraction, your delay is not because you're broken, but because your brain is trying to protect you, that's the moment you take your power back, because now you realize discomfort isn't the enemy, it's the signpost. It's the signal that says you're heading in the right direction. Think about it. Every breakthrough you've ever had came after something uncomfortable. You got stronger after the pain. You got wiser after the failure. You became who you are because you didn't back down. So the next time your brain starts whispering, "This is too hard. I can't handle this. I'll start next week," remind yourself, that's not truth. That's just your biology. And biology doesn't build empires. Decisions do. Discipline does. Courage does. You were not born to live your whole life inside the limits of your instincts. You were born to rise above them. So stop letting your brain run the show. Stop waiting for it to feel easy. Growth is not supposed to feel easy. Growth is not supposed to feel easy. It's supposed to feel like resistance. Because resistance is the forge of transformation. You don't have to feel fearless to take the first step. You just have to feel the fear and move anyway. Let's crush one of the biggest myths that's holding you back. You think you need motivation. You think you need to wake up fired up. You think success comes when you're inspired, when the mood hits, when the stars align. And that right there, that belief is the reason you keep spinning in circles, because you're sitting around waiting for a feeling to rescue you. Let me break it to you with love and power. You don't need more motivation. You need more friction. You need resistance. You need pressure. You need real stakes, because greatness doesn't come from being in the right mood. It comes from moving forward when you're not. Look around at the most successful people in any field, the world-class athletes, the entrepreneurs, the leaders, the legends. Do you think they feel motivated every day? Absolutely not. They don't wait for the fire. They create it. They understand something most people never grasp. Motivation is a byproduct of momentum, not the cause of it. You don't get fired up before you act. You get fired up because you acted. Action creates clarity. Action creates confidence. Action creates chemistry. Your mind starts firing differently when you move your body, when you push, when you decide. But here's what most people do instead. They scroll, they wait, they talk about what they want, they make plans, they take notes, they get ready to get ready, and nothing changes, because they think the right mood is coming. They think the perfect moment is coming. They think one day it'll feel right. It won't. You don't run. You don't rise because it feels right. You rise because you chose to do what's right, even when it felt wrong. And that's friction. Friction is the challenge you don't want. It's the early morning alarm. It's the cold shower. It's the conversation you're avoiding. It's the workout that burns. It's the discipline of showing up when you're tired, distracted, discouraged, and still delivering anyway. Friction is the discomfort that builds character, and character is the thing that builds empires. But you've been programmed to avoid friction. Your whole life you've been told to find ease, flow, alignment, high value. And while those things feel good, they don't forge strength. Think about this. What grows a muscle? Resistance. What builds a diamond? Pressure. What forms grit? Repetition through difficulty. It's the struggle that makes you powerful. And most people never become powerful because they run from it. They think discipline is punishment. They think sacrifice is suffering. They think consistency is boring. But if you knew what was on the other side of that friction, you'd chase it like your life depended on it. Because it does. The truth is, you've been sold motivation like a drug. You're chasing hits of energy when what you need is standards. You're trying to feel like it when what you need is identity. You don't run for because you're pumped. You rise because you remember who you are. This is who I am. This is what I do. I said I would, so I will. Friction isn't the obstacle, it's the way. And if you want to live a legendary life, if you want to wake up proud, fulfilled, on fire, you've got to stop running from friction and start walking into it like a warrior. Stop negotiating with yourself. Stop needing to feel ready. Stop asking for permission from your emotions. Set your alarm. Do the work. Get uncomfortable. Push when it's hard. And show up like your future depends on it. Because it does. You don't need to feel good to build a great life. You need to get stronger than your excuses. You need to stop chasing comfort and start chasing friction. Because motivation is a visitor, but friction, that's the personal trainer that never leaves. And every time you choose it, it's making you unstoppable. Let's get brutally honest right now. You are not stuck because you're unlucky. You're stuck because you haven't made discipline your identity. You're not behind in life because the world is against you. You're behind because you're still negotiating with comfort. You're still waiting for motivation to come knocking, for the mood to feel right, for everything to be aligned before you start. But growth doesn't wait for permission. Discipline doesn't ask how you feel. Discipline just executes. And the truth is, discipline is the exit door. The only way out of that golden prison called comfort is through the hard hallway of consistency, repetition, and action you don't always want to take. But that's the door. It's the only door. There's no shortcut, no hack, no cheat code. Every time you hit snooze, you're locking the door. Every time you scroll instead of study, you're locking the door. Every time you say, I'll start tomorrow, you're tightening the chains. Every time you choose short-term pleasure over long-term purpose, you're strengthening the walls of your own prison. And yet, every act of discipline is a key. Every time you get up when you don't want to, you chip away at the walls. Every workout you didn't feel like doing, every task you handled instead of escaping, every minute you stayed focused. That's you breaking the cycle. That's you saying, I don't serve comfort. I lead my... Let, let me tell you something about discipline. It's hard at first. It feels unnatural. It stings, because you're literally reprogramming your identity. You're killing off the version of you that made peace with mediocrity. That's not easy. That takes courage. But it's the only way to freedom. See, most people don't lack dreams. They lack standards. They say they want success. They say they want a spouse. They say they want a strong body, a clear mind, a meaningful life. But their standards are soft. Discipline is the bridge between what you want and who you become. And discipline means doing what needs to be done, even when your feelings beg you not. It's waking up tired and still lacing your shoes. It's showing up at the gym when you're sore. It's writing the page when you're uninspired. It's following through after the excitement is gone. Because here's the raw truth. Excitement starts things. Discipline finishes them. Comfort promises relief, but delivers regret. Discipline demands effort, but delivers promise. Choose. Which one do you want more? The quick dopamine hit of comfort, or the deep inner fire that comes from becoming who you said you would be? The life you want isn't found in some magical external circumstance. It's not on a stage. It's not in a YouTube video. It's not in some future version of you who just wakes up one day ready to know. That life is hiding behind the hard choices you've been avoiding. And discipline is the machete that cuts through the jungle of distractions, doubt, and delay. You don't rise because you feel like it. You rise because you made a decision to lead yourself. Every day you choose discipline. You cast a vote for the future you want. And eventually those votes add up. They become results. They become character. They become destiny. So burn the excuse. Forget motivation. Stop needing someone to push you. Be your own army. Be your own accountability. Be your own breakthrough. Because once you stop running from the work, once you stop treating discipline like a punishment, and start treating it like a privilege, everything changes. Discipline is not a prison. It's the key to escape the real one you've been living in. So start unlocking. So now you know you're not broken. You're not lazy. You're not unmotivated or weak. You've just been trapped in comfort. Trapped in the invisible cage that looks like ease but feels like emptiness. You've been seduced by convenience. You've been lied to by your own brain telling you that safety is success, that comfort is peace, that avoiding pain is smart. But deep down, you've always known the truth, that the life you were born to live, the impact you were meant to, it was never going to be built in the comfort zone. And now you stand at a choice. Keep living the way you've been living. Quiet, safe, soft, or the pattern. Trade comfort for courage. Trade temporary ease for permanent power.
Trade who you've been
for who you could be, because no one's coming to save you. There is no perfect moment. There is no secret formula. There is no secret formula. There's only this moment, right now, where you decide. You don't need to be ready. You don't need to be fearless. You just need to be done. Done with your own excuses. Done with what? Done with all feeling your fire dim one day at a time. Discipline is the way out. Friction is the teacher. Growth is the reward. And the real you, the powerful you, is waiting on the other side. So rise, not because it's easy, but because it's time. Break the comfort cage and meet the version of you the world's been waiting for.